back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it! Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power. Fight the power.
The blackness. Keep on. Never say die. Keep on. Blackness. Keep on. Never say die. Keep on. Blackness. Never say die. Never say
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Corte, your host and White House correspondent, joining you live in LA, where, look, you know, I stay in touch. And so tag, you be in touch. Follow me on all the social media platforms at Dr. Nii-Quartelai. Just type in Dr. Nii-Q, DRNIIQ, and I pop right on up. Also, be sure to download the KBLA app if you haven't. And if you have, tell your friends to download the KBLA app. That way they can listen to us live or on demand. You never know who's going to be rolling through KBLA. You never know who's going to be rolling through A More Perfect Union. In fact, just a programming note, I'm really looking forward to being in conversation this week with a number of individuals that are leading on the front lines, that are shaping the culture. I'm talking about Trymaine Lee, the Pulitzer Prize winning journalist and author and MSNBC contributor. We're going to be talking about his latest book, 1,000 Ways to Die. It's going to be released on September 9th. Right now it's available for pre-order. And so looking forward to talking about that book, which is broken out into three pillars: the violent history of guns and Black life, Trymaine's frontline reporting as a journalist, and his lived experience as a Black man carrying generational trauma. And so I'm really looking forward to being in conversation with him about that, especially given all the conversation around gun violence in this country, whether we're talking about the mass shooting in Minneapolis, or we're talking about the gun violence happening in places like Chicago and too many communities across the country. I'm really looking forward to being in conversation with Trymaine Lee. And so you definitely want to tap in to that. And we'll also be talking to Andre Holland. He's going to be promoting the release of Love, Brooklyn. It's a new film. It just opened this past Friday in New York. It will expand nationally on September 5th. We'll be talking about that work. And then later this week, we'll be talking to Pennsylvania State Representative Malcolm Kenyatta. Did y'all know he walked from North Philly all the way to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania to make a point? I should say not just make a point, to make a point and make a difference. We'll explain all of that. But make sure you're tapped in, to the app, and that you're subscribed to A More Perfect Union podcast. That way you never miss a conversation. Now it's time for your national news roundup. It's time for you to decide the good, bad, and ugly headlines of the day. And kicking us off, the LA Times reporting that Chanel Jones is returning to Today after her beautiful nightmare of grief. Chanel Jones will be returning to the Today Show after an extended break following the death of her husband, OJ, her husband of nearly 18 years. Her co-host made the announcement just this morning on the show. And it's worth noting that OJ died in May of glioblastoma, an aggressive brain cancer at the age of 45. Jones has been absent from the NBC morning show since late December when she excused herself to handle a family health matter. And at the time, she didn't publicly disclose what was going on and what she was going through. But Savannah Guthrie, her colleague, explained today that she and Jones, who have co-hosted the third hour of Today, sat for a pre-taped interview that will air this Friday. And so I know a lot of folks have been holding Chanel Jones in our hearts. We've been holding her family in our hearts. We know that grief is not linear. And so I hope we'll all tap in to listen to her story this Friday on the Today Show. But more importantly, continue to hold her in our hearts, her kids and family as they continue the adjustment to the new norm without their beloved. All right. Moving along, the New York Times is reporting that 5 new cast members joined Saturday Night Live after high-profile departures. We talked a little bit about this last week, but it's worth noting that five new cast members will join the upcoming season of Saturday Night Live. And Ben Marshall, who is already an SNL writer, he'll become a featured player, along with newcomers Tommy Brennan, Jeremy Colleen, Cam Patterson, and Veronica Slowick-Koska. I think I got that right. The additions, they follow a string of cast departures in the past month as the storied program prepares for its 51st season. Devon Walker, Emil Joachim, and Michael Longfellow, they all confirmed last week on their social media accounts that they're leaving the show. And multiple news outlets reported that cast mainstays Heidi Gardner was also departing the show, but neither Gardner nor NBC have publicly confirmed that. SNL creator Lorne Michaels previously said that he anticipated changes following the show's historic 50th season, and no cast member had announced their departure following the season's conclusion. In an interview with Puck that ran last month, Lorne Michaels answered yes when asked if he expected to shake things up. And so, is this a shake up? I don't know. There's a lot of people leaving SNL all at once. It's worth noting that since its debut in 1975, the NBC show has reinvented itself often with performers over the past 50 years, ranging from John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd to Kate McKinnon and Kenan Thompson. The 51st season will premiere on October 4th. Will you be watching? You know, I watch, but I watch depending on like who the musical act is and who's hosting. And, you know, so if I know whoever's hosting, then of course I'll watch. I'm more inclined to watch. I'm more inclined really to record on DVR and watch later. But I don't know. I don't like the idea of these black folks exiting SNL. I don't like that. What's going on? We're going to have to invite them on to get the full skinny, or at least be able to read in between the lines. Finally, USA Today is reporting that the 4% rule is now the 4.7% rule. And for those that are close to retirement, that matters. You see, 3 decades ago, financial advisors created a retirement principle called the 4% rule, and it went viral. Bill Benjamin actually created that. Now the rule is getting an update, the 4% rule, so that you should plan to spend 4% of your savings in the first year of retirement and spend the same amount adjusted for inflation every year after that. Well, it caught on because it's a simple formula to solve a complex problem: how to fund your retirement. Now, the 4% rule has drawn praise and scrutiny for years, but now Benjamin says it's time for a revision. The 4% rule has become the 4.7% rule. The revision illustrates both the strength and weakness of the original 4% rule. The rule endures as one of the best known concepts in personal finance. It's known for its simplicity, but some retirement experts say that the rule is a little too simple. It dates to an era when many savers put half their money in stocks, half in bonds. And so, look, people are living longer, and that money needs to stretch a little bit longer. And so make sure you consult your financial advisor about this recommended change to the 4% rule to the 4.7% rule. When we come forward, we're switching gears. I am excited to share the conversation I had with WaterAid CEO Kelly Parsons. She's talking about some cutting edge work that her organization is doing to make water more accessible around the world, including some pretty cutting edge philanthropic work that's afoot. And so more on that when we come forward. You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
The following is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways with the purpose of soliciting sales of vacation ownership. For complete details, please visit fvgradio.com. If you want a 100% complimentary stay at a luxury resort in Cancun, airfare not included, then Family Vacation Getaways is your ticket to paradise. See website for complete details. We're giving away 5 days and 4 nights to the first 50 callers who can name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. An animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. Do you know it? Call now, 800-868-6431, 800-868-6431. You're also eligible for an exciting bonus vacation to Orlando, Florida for just $498. And don't worry about anything ruining your plans. We can extend your travel up to 18 months. Name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird, and get a complimentary Cancun resort stay and an optional bonus vacation to Orlando for just $498. What are you waiting for? Call 800-868-6431, 800-868-6431, and give us your answer. The proceeding is not a contest and is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways and not sponsored by this program or its affiliates.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Los Angeles Regional Food Bank is on a mission to fight hunger and provide nutritious food to those in need across our community. They partner with federal, state, and local programs advocating for better policies and funding for critical hunger relief programs like Cow Fresh, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, and the Child and Adult Care Food Program. The food bank works with coalitions and local representatives to make sure hunger is addressed in every district of LA County. They also run nutrition education campaigns, raise hunger awareness, and source nutritious food for distribution, all while supporting regulations that allow food pantries to operate safely. Want to help? Visit lafoodbank.org or call 323-234-3030 to volunteer or find a food bank near you. Together, we can ensure that no one goes hungry in Los Angeles County. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Are you ready to be a part of the conversation that will help shape our nation's future? Get ready to join us for the Left Coast Forum, Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech, where progressive voices will come together to tackle the issues that matter most to working families across Los Angeles and beyond. From economic justice to climate action, from healthcare to housing, we're bringing together the brightest minds and most passionate advocates for real solutions and real change. With work workshops, 2 major keynote addresses, and a closing reception with great music and good food. It's the Left Coast Forum, where your voice matters and your ideas take action. Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech. Brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580 and the LA Progressive. The future won't wait, and neither should you. Mark your calendar now to be there and be heard. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details.
We have no permanent friends or permanent enemies. Only permanent interests. As we effort to build a more perfect union.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai and really delighted to welcome my next guest. She is the CEO of WaterAid, which is the world's leading clean water and hygiene nonprofit. They're working on a bold new campaign that's bringing together creators, influencers, folks in the world of global development and on the periphery. Please welcome Kelly Parsons. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dr. Quartelai.
It's great to have you here for a number of reasons. One, there's no plan B. As excited as we were to see Gail King and company go off into space earlier this year, the idea of living somewhere else, that's just not the reality for most people here in this country and around the world. And so talk to us a little bit about the mission of WaterAid and why, of all the issues that are swirling around the world, why is WaterAid, water access to clean water, why is that so critically important right now?
Yeah, thank you. It's a problem as old as mankind, right? Ever since people walked the earth, they needed to find clean water to stay healthy and to thrive. And that problem continues today, and with some extreme weather is getting even more challenging. For me, I'm an economist, and I've spent much of my life living in various parts of the world, and I've seen firsthand the difference that clean water can make in the lives of those of people everywhere. And so it is at its heart a human problem, and everyone can touch and feel it. We all have been without clean water at parts, and if we've traveled. And so to me, it's foundational and fundamental to everything that we're striving for in this world. So health starts with clean water. Dignity starts with clean water. Economic development and empowerment starts with clean water. All of the pieces that we're trying to pull together to make this world a better place, they all come back to water at their very heart.
You're absolutely right. I mean, it's so essential, and talk about how essential it is in terms of the future of the global economy. There's been a lot of talk about the power of artificial intelligence. And I think a lot of people aren't drawing the connection between the AI that we get to use on our phones and the energy that is required in order to power these AI technologies. And so talk to us about the connection between water and leading the global campaign for AI dominance.
That's a fascinating connection, and one that we should look at both in terms of how water is used in AI and also how prepared communities are to take advantage of things like AI. If they don't have access to clean water, communities and individuals and families can't move forward. Education falls apart. You have girls who aren't able to go to school every day because they spend hours going and trying to bring clean water home for the family. And so we've got these technological solutions. They all require water. Water is used in the mining of solar batteries and the mining of all the new technology inputs, and in cooling systems for AI in particular. So there's both problems on the supply and the demand. And if we really want the world to benefit and to be able to make the most out of these new solutions, we're going to have to solve this age-old crisis of water.
And I really appreciate you really widening the lens for us, because on the surface we say, okay, clean water, got it, but we don't understand how far-reaching the consequences are if we ignore the call to make clean water accessible around the world. Talk to us about this campaign that you've been working on. You all have been working diligently to bring together content creators to influence global development. This month, WaterAid and Mr. Beast launched the Team Water, #Team Water, a crowdsource initiative that was launched beginning of this month to raise some dough. How much dough have you raised? And tell us about this campaign.
We are at $38 million right now.
Whoa!
I am super excited about that. So Team Water is the largest effort of its kind ever to hit the planet and the world. We're looking to unite people behind water, because water is that source of everything, and access to water determines health, education, economic outcomes for billions around the planet. This is the campaign that's about people more than plumbing. So we're raising $40 million to get clean drinking water to 2 million people around the world. But it's also about creating a movement of change, creating leaders who understand the importance of water. And those leaders may be 10 or 15-year-olds right now, or 25 or 30-year-olds. But it's about creating that spark in the next generation that understands water is so foundational to everything we want to achieve, and knows that they can make a difference in the world. So Team Water is all about uniting people behind this very human piece that is water in our lives.
And talk about creating that spark. Forbes.com reported that Mr. Beast, the world's most watched YouTuber, he raised $12 million for clean water access, breaking the Guinness World Record for the most money raised in a charity stream. Talk to us about why you all decided to collaborate with content creators to advance this issue. There are lots of issues that are as old as time, but there are many organizations that aren't working as strategically with content creators as you are.
Exactly. And I think this may be the future of our sector and of those that want to change the world. We've got to go where the people are. And so there are really some differences that Mr. Beast, Mark Rober, and these 3,000 content creators all over the world have that no one else can bring. So when you think about it, they bring reach. So you talked about Mr. Beast. His videos are often seen by almost 1 billion people, a single video around the world. So it's really a global audience. So that reach is unsurpassed. We're also working in video games. So we've built water power-ups in Fortnite. There's 15 different Fortnite maps or universes that now have water power-ups that make you stronger when you collect water. It's just the reality of life, right? Fortnite has been played by 60% of teen boys in Europe and the United States. So what a way to change the way they think about this. And how else can we reach that audience but going through those that have influence with them? Mr. Beast and Mark Rober also bring an extraordinary amount of trust into this equation. So they're trusted much more so than institutions, than corporations, and even sometimes civil society in today's world. And so that combination of reach times trust really brings a whole nother level of engagement that I think is key to changing how people think about issues in the world. And I think it's the future of how we'll go about creating large-scale change.
Speaking of the future and creating large-scale change, we know that there are a lot of demands on the philanthropic sector right now. We're witnessing here in the United States and other parts of the world, the government sort of withdrawing from humanitarian aid and other international development type investments. But what's so interesting about the work that you all are doing at WaterAid is that you are proving that creator-led philanthropy can work. It's a relatively untapped market, has a lot of potential. Talk to us about that aspect of this case study in the making over at WaterAid.
Yeah. I think the proving the case is absolutely what we're doing here. And this has been real innovation for us. It's where an organization with 45 years working all over the world in clean water comes together with the new generation, the new audience, and those creators that tap into those. And so this is a moment where we know we need governments, philanthropists, corporates. We need all of these groups involved to solve the water crisis once and for all. And it is a solvable problem. Without any of those groups, though, we can't succeed. And so we've got to create that generation, that movement that's going to demand of their corporate leaders, of philanthropists, of governments all over the world, raise their voices and actually create the change that we know is possible in the world. That's what's so exciting. I think
the audience is listening.
Governments complex, sometimes divide us.
This is where authentic voices meet powerful discussions on culture, community, and change. This is where Black voices matter. He's breaking boundaries, amplifying diverse perspectives, and tackling the issues that matter most to you. You're inside A More Perfect Union with Dr. Nii-Quartelai on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Former Memphis, Tennessee police officer Demetrius Haley is asking to be released from federal custody. His attorneys filed a motion for bond, noting his clean disciplinary record in confinement and compliance with release conditions before his conviction. The request comes less than a week after Haley and two other former officers were granted a new trial in the death of a Black man, Tyree Nichols. Interim Chicago Housing Authority CEO Angela Herlock, who is Black, is stepping down. Board Chairman Matthew Brewer will serve as operating chair while the vote on former Alderman Walter Burnett's appointment is delayed. And the American Bar Association is facing backlash for doubling down on its support of DEI and law school accreditation. Sherry Sylvester with the Texas Public Policy Foundation argues accreditation power should return to the state Supreme Court, which originally handled it, saying that keeps authority with elected officials rather than the ABA. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Rubidoux with a crash on the 60 eastbound just past Rubidoux Boulevard. They're clearing it out of the right lane, but that drive is tough away from Pyrite Street. In Irvine, we're looking at the 405. This is northbound slowing away from the 133 all the way to Brookhurst and Fountain Valley, a little crowded around Westminster Boulevard, and delays ahead in Seal Beach from Seal Beach Boulevard as you continue towards the 710 freeway. The 710 was really tough because of an overturned car southbound just before the 405. Two left lanes blocked, sending you back off of the 91.
You deserve a car that thrills you, a car that puts goosebumps on your goosebumps. At Nissan, they've got everything from turbocharged SUVs to 100% electric vehicles that'll make your heart beat faster. Experience the thrill for yourself. Shop your local Nissan store and NissanUSA.com today.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Former USC men's basketball coach George Raveling, the first African-American men's basketball coach in the Pac-10 Conference, and a coach with a very special connection to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., passed away Tuesday after a battle with cancer. He was 88. The Hall of Fame coach was at USC from 1986 to 1994. He made history in the Pac-10 when Washington State hired him in 1972. Raveling was a 26-year-old assistant coach at Villanova when he was asked to help provide stage security for Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech in D.C. on August 28, 1963. As Dr. King stepped down from the stage after his speech, Raveling asked him if he could have the speech for a souvenir. Without hesitating, Dr. King gave Raveling the papers he wrote the speech on. Raveling held on to the speech for decades, turning down $1 million offers before donating it to the Museum of African American History and Culture in D.C. in 2021. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, y'all, come on. Here come the drums.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we fight the power every day.
Yeah, Gotta give us what we want. Gotta give us what we need.
I listen to KBLA and I love the commercials. I know what the commercials mean. I also, if I'm looking and trying to figure something out, I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, you know, every time they show a sporting event, they got the pharmaceutical companies back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it. Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power. Fight the power.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things, like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Hit me.
National news of consequence. Informed opinion. And analysis beyond the headlines. You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, and what's so great about this campaign, it really is a big part of what caught my attention about your work, is the scale at which you're doing this. I mean, you all launched this campaign at the beginning of this month, the beginning of August, and already, to your point, you're at $38 million, just $2 million short of your goal. The scale is remarkable. More than 3,500 creators with a combined reach of over 3 billion followers have generated hundreds of thousands of posts calling their audiences to give. And one of the things that we say on this show every episode, reminding people, do what you can from where you are with what you have. And so I just want to put a finer point on this, because I don't want people to think that, okay, well, you know, if you have Mr. Beast working with you, given his following, of course you'd raise that kind of money. Yes, you have a Mr. Beast, but you have micro influencers as well. And the point that you're making is it really takes all of us to be able to scale and have this kind of remarkable impact. No?
That's right. And I love it. And the do what you can message comes through so clearly as part of this. This is sometimes bake sale money that kids are putting on. There was a young woman that posted that she was giving, I think it was $100. And she said, I made bracelets and sold them, and now I'm donating it to Team Water. You know, that is creating and empowering that young woman to make a difference in communities, possibly all over the world, that she can now connect with kids connecting with kids. And I also think it's a great way for parents to get kids involved in giving what they can. You know, those $5 donations, they're really making a difference. And people can feel connected to something that is a simple message too. I think that helps us a little with water being at the heart of Team Water, is that it is something that everybody can understand. When a child hears there's other people that don't have this clean glass of water to drink in front of them, you know, they can relate to that and what that might feel like.
And speaking of getting the next generation involved, a birdie told me that you recently dropped your kid off at college.
I did just today.
And I'm curious, you know, as to, you know, what advice are you giving, not just, you know, as a leader in the social sector, but, you know, as a mom to a young person that is in college, you know, at a time where it seems like there's no shortage of urgent issues that have to be addressed urgently around the world?
Yeah. Oh, I love that question. And yes, I just dropped him off at University of Maryland this morning. So proud Terp mom. And I think my hope for my kids, I have two of them, is that they get out and see the world. They understand their place and their privilege in it. And they figure out how they can make a difference on something that they care about. And I know that won't be water for them, likely. It was for me because I was able to travel and go on some mission trips as a high schooler where I first built water systems on the US-Mexico border. And this was decades ago. But that's what shaped me. And that's why I'm now continuing to work in water 30 years later, right? So I want them to get out. I want them to explore and understand what the reality is all around the world. Everyone has a different life. Everyone deserves dignity. And we all have some basics that we need. So I hope that they'll very much find their passion and their way of achieving purpose in their own path.
And something that you know a lot about, I mean, you know, somebody who's a former member of the Peace Corps and who I think until recently served on the National Peace Corps Association. Is that correct?
Yes, the board. Yes.
Yeah. I think that it's incredible, and I really admire how you've made service sort of a through line throughout your life. You know, there's no randomness in the work that you are doing, and we appreciate you really coming here and letting us know how we can tap in and be a part of the solution to a challenge that is as old as time, as you said.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, it's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure. Where can people go to tap in, to join the campaign?
Teamwater.org is your best spot to track the campaign. Of course, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, some of the video games out there. You can find us all over the internet, but it's teamwater.org. And yeah, August is just the first start of this. So August is when we're fundraising really intensely, but the campaign and the movement around the importance of clean water for everyone, that's continuing, and that's not going to stop anytime soon.
We love to hear it. We love to hear it. Our thanks to WaterAid CEO Kelly Parsons. You've been listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
Striving to make America a nation as good as its promise. This is A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm LA City Councilmember Curran Price, inviting you to the 30th anniversary of the Central Avenue Jazz Festival, Saturday, September the 20th, from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. We've got 4 pavilions, 3 stages of live music, plus food, fun, and a marketplace all along historic Central Avenue between MLK Boulevard and Vernon Ave. Our featured acts this year are Gregory Porter, Pancho Sanchez, and Jasmine Horn at the 30th anniversary of the Central Avenue Jazz Festival. Saturday, September 20th, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. along Central Avenue between MLK Boulevard and Vernon Avenue. Come out and bring the whole family because this legendary celebration is free. For more information, go to centralabjazzfest.com. I'm LA Councilmember Curran Price, and I absolutely approve this message.
Imagine a world without heart disease and stroke, where every person has the chance to live a full and healthy life. Join us for a walk to save lives at the American Heart Association's Greater Los Angeles Heart and Stroke Walk, Saturday, September 20th at the Rose Bowl. Every step made and every dollar raised means more people learning CPR, more life-saving research, and more time with the ones we love. Sign up at heartwalkla.org. The LA Heart and Stroke Walk is sponsored by Optum, UCLA Health, Keck Medicine of USC, and Dignity Health.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Notable journalists, industry leaders, lawmakers, change makers, tastemakers, and you, working to build a more perfect union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai. And now, just moments ago, we were talking to Kelly Parsons, who is the CEO of WaterAid. And we were talking about some of the great work that she's leading around the world to make water more accessible, clean water more accessible. And the tie-in to this next story is, water is one of the essential ingredients when you're making whiskey. And I wanted to sort of take a minute to shine a light on someone else who is just as cutting edge as Kelly Parsons is in her work. Uncle Nearest CEO Fawn Weaver. The Griot reported, I should say, last month that Fawn had said that her team was unshaken by the lawsuit and calls for customers to, quote, clear the shelves in response to the ruling that her whiskey brand, Uncle Nearest, will be placed under a receivership. CEO Fawn Weaver, remember, she took to social media to tell her followers that she and the brand are still going strong, and to clear up what she called fake news about the current state of her role, saying, quotes, some reports claim I no longer own Uncle Nearest. Let me be clear. I built this company. I own this company. I run this company. Fawn, of course, did not share details about the lawsuit and is under gag order from the court, but she said in a post caption that she is still speaking out despite being cautioned to move in silence. She went on to say, but God didn't call me to that. He called me to live out loud and knew that he built me strong enough to take the shots when they came. You see, after a legal battle between Uncle Nearest and one of its lenders, Farm Credit Mid-America, the future of the whiskey company and the role of its founders, Fawn Weaver and her husband, Keith Weaver, who I've known for many years, A lot of folks say it's in the balance, hanging in the balance. According to claims from Farm Credit, the company defaulted on $108 million in loans. They also accused the company of lying about its barrel inventory to get an increased loan, misusing loans on a $2 million Martha's Vineyard property. But the order from the Tennessee judge suggested that the Weavers remain in control of the brand's marketing, which Farm Credit agreed with, according to the reports. Now, there are still so many more details that are unknown. So all we know is what has been publicly reported by our friends over at the Griot, but also most recently by our friends over at Forbes.com. If you haven't already, you might want to check out Chloe Sorvino's story. The headline reads, "Under receivership, Uncle Nearest at risk." Look, this federal judge placed it under federal receivership over defaulting on a $108 million loan. One of the questions I have is, if your company has an evaluation of over $1 billion, and okay, you defaulted on a loan of $108 million, how is the answer to that receivership? How's a receivership? I mean, it seems like you're just kind of like taking the most extreme response. For a lot of people out there, if they default on a loan, there's a process. There's a process in place to help people, get back in a good standing on that loan. There are liens that are put on that property so that those folks who they own a debt to will be made whole one way or the other. And so these are some of the questions that need answers. These are questions that need answers. Of course, founded in 2017 by Keith and Fawn Weaver. Again, Uncle Nearest, they were created to celebrate the formerly enslaved Nearest Green, who taught Jack Daniels how to make whiskey. The decision created a major crossroads for this 8-year-old company, which the Weavers have intended to bequeath to the descendants of Green. And let's not pretend that in this current political environment that what they're doing doesn't rub somebody in a position of power, influence, and authority the wrong way. I mean, for heaven's sakes, if there is this all-out assault on all things diversity, equity, and inclusion, should we be surprised if there are forces out there that have decided they're going to target this brand? Perhaps this Black woman's gotten too big for her britches, or this Black couple's gotten too big for their britches. And so I think we've also got to set that on the table. We've got to set that on the table. In this Instagram post that Fawn Weaver put up, where she says that the team remains unshaken and unmoved by the lawsuit, saying that, quotes, "I'm a steady leader, unflappable. This is a blip on the radar. Again, what we're building is so much bigger than the current news cycle. So don't be concerned or dissuaded." She went on to say that distributors and partners often buckle under this kind of news cycle. Ours are doubling down because you're standing 10 toes down with us. And in the filing, she and her husband, Keith, have called the allegations lies. And so they're under gag order. They can't do any interviews on the topic at the moment. And so all I can go on is what has been posted on social media, what has been reported by outlets like the Griot and like Forbes. But how much of this, are folks in the industry that don't like the story of Uncle Nearest and how in the past 8 years, they went from not existing to disrupting the industry and becoming an industry leader. I mean, you don't make a lot of friends doing that. And so that's worth noting. The idea that founder Fawn Weaver may lose control over her Tennessee whiskey distillery after this judge mandates a receivership unless a white knight investor bails her out, it should cause concern for a lot of entrepreneurs out there, for a lot of founders out there. And so my interest in bringing up this story is not just about raising questions that need answers, but it's about widening the lens. This story is so much bigger than Uncle Nearest. It's so much bigger than Keith and Fawn Weaver, two folks who I've known for many, many years. In fact, I was just at an Uncle Nearest event that they hosted on Martha's Vineyard at that house in question. And I have always known them to be up and out, always known them to be up and out. I've actually visited the Uncle Nearest distillery in Shelbyville, Tennessee, and have seen how they took this little idea and how they have really built this incredible empire, and have done so with integrity, have done so with attention to detail, have done so with the support of Nearest Green's descendants. And so I say all this to say, don't believe everything you hear on these internet streets. There is so much more to this story. And for all of the entrepreneurs out there, don't despair. Sometimes we hear stories like this and we may ask ourselves, what's the point? I mean, these are two people who love each other and love our community and have created a brand that honors the life and legacy and contribution of Nearest Green in ways that Nearest Green himself probably could have never imagined. And the prospect of, after 8 years of building, 8 years of getting investors, of trial and error and creating products and marketing those products to folks across this country and elsewhere, that doesn't happen by itself. That's not easy work to do. They did that work. And look, sometimes things happen, but the idea of their company potentially being taken away from them, that don't sound right. That don't sound right. And we're gonna stay on the story because to the extent that we understand how this happened and why this happened, we put everybody else up on game. And we help to make sure that situations like this don't happen to other entrepreneurs that are hell-bent and focused on bringing their product, their service, their contribution to the economy to life. And so what's one thing that we can all do, aside from continuing to tap in here and paying attention to what's happening related to Uncle Nearest, we can all support the Uncle Nearest brand. That's what we can all do. And we can all study this story very closely so other entrepreneurs don't find themselves in a similar situation. That's what we can do. And so and let me just say, I am sharing this story because I felt like sharing this story. Not because anybody asked me to share this story. I share this story because, again, we talk to so many leaders on the front lines, people that are shaping the culture, entrepreneurs. We talk to them every week on this show. And so when I read this story about Uncle Nearest and what has been alleged in the press, and what I know to be true based upon my knowing of Keith and Fawn Weaver and my familiarity with the brand, this is about more than just Keith and Fawn Weaver. This is about more than just Uncle Nearest. This is about Black entrepreneurship. It's about Black businesses. It's about access to capital, Black people's access to capital. It's about so many of the things that impact so many entrepreneurs, we may never know their name. But I want them to know we're checking for you, and we're going to keep our eye on this. We'll have to leave it here. My thanks to the entire village that helps us produce a more perfect union each and every day. Our executive producer, Tavis Smiley, our sound engineer, brother Andy, to our show producers, Faraji, Art, and Journey, and to each and every one of you, all of our leaders, learners, and listeners. We love you. We appreciate you. We curate this show each and every day with you in mind. And speaking of folks in mind, I saw the comment from the More Perfect YouTube chat. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Selena Ricks, reminding us that Black dollars matter, that controlling the narrative matters, that joining Black-owned credit unions matter, that exercising our power, it matters. And that's exactly what the message that we will continue to amplify right here on A More Perfect Union. Remember, don't panic, organize, do what you can from where you are with what you have, but by all means, do something. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai, and you've been listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.